Guys, do you think animism is a good outlook? Because I think it's pretty all white.
Hello and welcome to another Heathen Wyrdos coffee break. Today, we're going to talk about land whites or house whites. I'm going to be extremely specific right now. Whites is spelled W-I-G-H-T-S, not whites like the color. Okay? Okay. Good. Got that out of the way. With that, my name is Theo. My pronouns are they, them.
Wait, who's next? 1 second.
You are Sif. You're next.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Everyone knows me. Everyone. They know what I'm like. Okay. My name is Sif. My pronouns are she, her.
Pronouns are she, her.
Yep. Wait, did my mic cut out then?
No.
No, I think your mic cut out.
Oh, did I cut? That probably is correct.
I was going to say, we just
Still
got Kenna from you.
Yeah, okay. No, we're just going to cut me out. I'm not here.
Oh,
still Kenna.
I was so confused.
Oh my goodness. All right, we got this. So yeah, what are land whites and house whites? Basically, they're the spirits of the land or the home. I think some of them have been said to follow families as well. Honestly, it's a really interesting idea to me. The term white is a more modern Icelandic one, and like for Old Norse, it's Vættir, and I'm probably butchering that, and I'm not apologizing.
That was on point, I think.
Really?
Yeah, Vættir. Yeah.
Woo! But anyways, but that one's a bit of a mouthful. I'm gonna call them whites, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Sif and Kenna can call them either one. I don't care. But yeah, so now that we know about that, what the fuck do we do with that? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
they're there.
I mean, we are an animist religion.
That's true.
It's kind of important as an animist religion. And it's not just to have names for the spirits around us, but like to be able to interact with them.
I've heard some people say that like some whites follow families or individuals or whatever. Have you guys heard that?
Sif, have you heard that?
I've heard it, but very much outside of a like historical setting. I don't know, maybe there is one or two that is more historical. I don't know, but I feel like it's modern.
If we're extending the term white or Vættir to the Disir, I can understand that following the family.
Can we wow. Brain. Come on.
They do often.
Can we tell people what the Disir are?
Yes,
well. Well, if we're going to our Snorri, it's everyone.
I'm sorry. Oh.
It's every female spirit is a Disir. You know, the Valkyrie's a Disir. That person over there is a Disir. That one's over there is a Disir. It's just they're everywhere. But no, specifically they are often presented as female or feminine, and they are guardian or familial or ancestral spirits. That's basically as vague as we are going to go, because the Norns are sometimes called Disir, and you know it's a academic and a heathen kind of thing of like wading through and figuring out where the distinctions lie.
Is this a damn you Snorri?
Yes. This is absolutely a damn you Snorri.
Damn you Snorri.
For instance, like Freya, Vanadis, it's the Dis is like a goddess almost association, and that's where it can get really muddy in terms of a definition. But arguably, it is just the spirits, or whatever you want to call them, the beings that protect the family and the ancestral line, and we'll go with that as a definition.
Sure.
And we can wade into the distinction in a future episode.
That sounds like a good idea. We should probably put that on our docket. And also, damn you, Snorri. All right. That aside, how common are they? Are they prominent in Are they prominent in historic heathenry or other pagan religions?
Talk about other pagan religions, but they are prominent in historic heathenry.
Yeah. Kenna, you said you had a book where you could read about them.
I do. I have a book called Swedish Folktales and Legends that has a lovely little section about different, don't call them Vættir in this, but they, as folklore and practices grow, names tend to evolve out of them. So this goes through and lists the different type of spirits. So for example, the spirit of the house, what you might call your house Vættir, your house wight, your house spirit, in Scandinavian folklore, might have been called the tomtar, and they look really similar to the gnomes you find at like TJ Maxx, that kind of vibe, with a tall red hat. The tomte.
Love it.
Yeah. So
are they friendly?
My book has a couple names that I'll throw in throughout our discussion.
Are they friendly?
Yes. They like porridge.
Okay. I mean, same.
Actually, that's a lie. My grandmother doesn't like porridge, but she's the only one I know that doesn't.
Is this the Swedish grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah, she also grinds up like reindeer horn.
That's just a Swedish thing, my guy.
I was like, that's normal for Sweden.
You're very special.
Does she like the taste of ground reindeer horn?
No, you just only when you put it in the cookies.
You
don't eat it straight. That's psychotic.
Lick, lick.
I tried it. I did that. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. We're on a tangent.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Lick. All right. There's a chunk in my cookie. Anyways.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Kenna, the book. Are you done with the book?
More modern names for different varieties of spirits that I will throw in as it becomes relevant.
Okay. So you want me to continue?
Yeah, let's just keep going. It's going to be easier for me to add things as they come up than to list out everything.
Okay. Yeah. So how prominent are they? Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's that. I'm proud of myself for this, so hold on to your underpants, guys.
Okay.
How do you identify a wight? Is it the thing that goes bump in the night?
Oh boy, we're rhyming. Let's
go. That's the only rhyme I got.
I was writing a children's book, and that's the first poem.
Hush your mouth. No children's books are coming from me. I actually want to write a children's book. I can't say that.
Okay.
How do you identify one? Well, them being everywhere means that you're bound to be around one most of the time. If you're in your house, it's your house spirits. If you're outside, it's going to be a land spirit. I would say that for me personally, it's very much about energy in a space that you can identify it with. Because they're everywhere, you kind of know that if something feels a bit off, then if you can eliminate all of the other things, then it might be your spirit being
Did you tighten your tabs?
I have tightened all of my tabs. I have WD-40'd every hinge. I have fixed squeaky chairs. Oh no, wait, it's still squeaking. Never mind. Write that one.
I was gonna say, I was like, are you sure?
So, according to my book of folklore, it was not uncommon for the domesticated house spirits to be spied in dark corners of stables or haylofts, which is reminiscent to me of the little, like, hear it in witchcraft circles a lot, the shadow people, not the scary ones, like the cute little ones.
So they're like just being creepy bitches in the corner?
They're going about their business.
This little light, like little eyes peeking out every now and again, going, hello.
I don't know why that was the noise I chose for that.
Okay, I'm gonna mute for a sec because my toddler wants to say hi.
Oh, okay.
Not my toddler cousin. I don't own any toddlers.
Kenna has at least 8 toddlers.
They're with the dolls.
Yeah. They are the dolls.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, those dolls.
Oh, dear.
Goodness.
Oh, prominent historic heathenry. I guess we'll just touch on that a bit more. Yes, they are mentioned in the lore and sagas. And to be honest with you, when I think of kind of like the Vættir in like lore, they're very much involved with kind of cursing people, but they're not inherently bad themselves. It is more about kind of invoking the land spirits to kind of protect you and not protect someone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And obviously in terms of modern heathenry, we often, or at least I do, when I'm doing a ritual, I hallow the space, and part of that is eliminating any bad spirits and actually kind of recognizing any good local spirits as well. So
okay, and so this is my UPG. I basically ended up having to cleanse my land whites, or like cleanse the area for my land whites to help them. Completely my UPG.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this before.
Yeah, like completely my UPG, and this was also before I was a Norse heathen. Like, I've always believed in like land spirits or like spirits that just exist in an area. And so the person that lived in my home before me was extremely mentally unwell, which is valid. But some very bad things happened at my house, and like the land whites were just fucked up by it, if that makes sense. Like, just because it was an ongoing thing for like 10 years. So like I remember like almost constantly cleansing with like music and stuff like that. Like, or I had to do that for like a solid 4 months. Not constantly, I guess, but like periodically. Like the first time I entered my home, like at night, like, and I was just dropping stuff off because it was a slow move-in process, and like just remember like feel like this deep feeling of discomfort, and like something was angry that I was there, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna I'm leaving. Okay, bye. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%
It does.
Oh, hi, Kenna.
Hi.
Do the landlights want to be our friends?
Yes.
Yeah. They want to engage in the reciprocity cycle. They like gifts.
I mean, a lot of people like gifts. Like,
According to my little book, the Tomte, the house spirits specifically, they were a folk consciousness. They were caretakers of the home, kind of akin to the Gaelic brownie.
Oh, okay.
In return for prosperity and harmony that they brought to the household, they expected to be fed a bowl of porridge regularly and to be treated with respect.
I've never fed mine porridge, but they've gotten things.
I would imagine that porridge could be crossed out and anything could be subbed in there.
As long as it's
just porridge.
Historically, porridge was just one of the easier, more affordable, easy to make things.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've talked about it before and I'll say it again. Like, when you're talking about what to offer, like when people are like, you have to offer this, and I'm like, that sounds like a lie. Like, just because like I interpret like offerings being something that like I actually value and enjoy. So like if you don't like porridge, don't offer porridge. Like, I guess land whites might be a little different than deities. So it's like, Yeah,
I mean, one of my favorite things that I've started doing for the land in general is I have stray cats in my neighborhood because of course we do. Why wouldn't we? So I leave out a bowl of water for the cats and for the land whites. And it works.
I'm now picturing the
But,
landlords like kneeling down and drinking right next to the cats.
yeah, they're just hanging out. That and when I cut herbs off of some of the rando plants I have, like I have a crap ton of rosemary and lavender just growing out here. So I'll cut some rosemary or some lavender and I'll add that to my little tree stump that my water bowl sits on.
Oh, yes.
I would say that if you look after I'll start from the beginning there. If you want to build a good relationship with your house whites, land whites, looking after where you live, the land that you're on, the community, the space, etc. That is like a dedication to them, and that will put you on good terms. Essentially, I find that I don't have a garden at the moment, but when I did or when I will, then just looking after that space will be, in essence, building a good relationship with the land spirit.
That makes sense.
Was that? And before I forget, there is a case of not a lot. I say some heathens I know don't interact a lot with the gods, but they do interact with, on a daily basis, the land spirits and the house spirits, and that really is the crux of their praxis.
Yeah.
And obviously that is 100% valid, and I think that's almost, I don't want to say it's more historically accurate, but it definitely reflects more of the values that we do see in that the gods were seen as beings that are higher up than the land spirits hierarchy. We've talked about this, the pyramid.
Pyramid.
And and yeah, so it's they interacted more with the spirits of the land.
Yeah.
And they were plenty powerful. We have at least one story, I think it's Njal Saga, about the kniving of the king and queen of fucking Norway or whatever. And rather than call upon a deity, called upon the spirits and just basically riled them up and said, go cause hell until they fuck off. Which is pretty intense.
It is, actually. So, like, I guess that being said, like, can people include whites in their hearth cults? Or are they just kind of there? Or, like...
I would say it would be remiss for people to look over the spirits of the land and house. I think everyone should have some sort of offering to them. In terms of being in the hearth cult, I would say, well, it depends how you really want to classify it. I think by default you should have some sort of, not daily, but some sort of praxis with the spirits.
Developing that is also it's a less intense way to get into heathenry for those of you who are like feeling a little overwhelmed by the idea of cult gods and things.
Yeah,
it's a much smoother transition to get into like talking to trees and saying hi to your house spirits.
Yeah. So I guess my perspective on that is that they can absolutely be part of your hearth cult. I don't see them personally because they're more not innate, I guess more default. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I think that makes sense.
I see my hearth cult as the gods that I specifically worship, whereas the land whites and everything else is like more of a foundational. That relationship will always exist. Whereas the hearth cult is more of the gods that I specifically worship.
Okay.
I guess that's my perspective.
That makes sense.
There we go.
All right. Kenna, what do you think?
I have the privilege of having grown up with a somewhat animist outlook, even though I didn't know that was the word for it. So it's always just been there.
Okay. Sure. I mean, that makes sense. Is it easy to piss off a white?
I would agree with that note there, that it is easier than, say, a god.
Than a deity.
Yeah.
Especially with like house spirits, I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's basically if you really ignore them, if you like purposely ruin the land you're on, or
imagine being a dick to your roommate. That's going to piss him off.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that like not talking to your roommate for a couple of days is going to cause a fight, because that's not realistic.
Or it shouldn't.
If it does, you should seek counseling.
Your house spirit is your spiritual landlord.
Oh god. Oh god.
But like in a non-capitalist way. They are, if you trash the place, if you purposefully gravel over or concrete over the garden, they might be a little bit, well, they will be a bit pissed off. Just make sure
landlord.
that they are nourished. You're watering the grass if you want to do that. It's got flowers out there. You give them offerings. I mean, yeah, there's ways of doing it. I would say that you would have to not go out of your way, but there would have to be some sort of unknowingly, maybe malicious intent, if that makes sense.
Intentional disrespect.
Yeah,
Literally.
like you might think, oh, this concrete looks great rather than the grass, but at the back of your mind, you'd be like, oh, but the grass is gone. And, the land spirit would be like, well, yeah, the grass is gone. Thanks.
There's a house.
Yeah, I mean, like my little book says, all they want is a snack and some respect.
I mean, same.
Word.
That's it.
I mean,
I feel a t-shirt coming on. Your spiritual landlord, all they want is a snack and some respect.
Do it. Anywho. So yeah, like, I guess we just answered the next question. Like, if you do piss them off, what do? Give them a snack and some respect. Like,
yes, literally.
Yeah. So yeah. We talked, like, should you offer to them? What happens if you don't offer to them? Is it beneficial to offer to them?
Yes.
Having anyone on your side is a good thing. So yes, that extends. Do you want to make more friends than enemies?
Correct.
So yes, I would say it's beneficial to have the spirits on your side.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like massive gestures. I think Theo, you and I both went to Dollar Tree and got a little fairy house as a symbolic like little home for them, and that's wonderful.
Yep. That's exactly what I did. Like, it literally cost $1.
Yeah, it was great. They love it.
You could also make a little popsicle house.
Popsicle sticks.
Mm-hmm. Give them a little water bowl. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
Cup of tea in the morning. Yeah.
Cup of tea.
Give them a little tea, especially if you're a Brit. Give them some tea. They love that.
Oh my god, I need to get a teacup. A little tiny teacup.
What you're going to do is you're going to go to a secondhand store, a charity shop, and you're going to find a little tea set.
Yes.
Oh,
you're going to get a little tiny cup.
Yes.
It's going to sit on your altar and it'll be a little tiny teacup.
Oh my god, I get a little like tea kettle and just be like, boop,
boop,
boop, boop,
boop. It is an excuse to be dramatic.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my days.
Sif is so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Sif's like, I'm gonna go to a charity shop now.
Yeah, like a little China tea set with little like tea saucer and like
it would be so cute.
Bowl of tiny sugar cubes. Or
Honestly,
like
I don't know why more heathens aren't using children's tea sets, like the fine china tea sets that you got I got as a kid because I am a lady and I was raised as such. It's a perfect way to have multiple cups to offer to multiple gods, and you make your little tiny altar on their little tiny saucers, and it's adorable.
I mean, now I'm sad that I don't have any of those anymore. All right.
Okay.
I have to go to a consignment store. Anywho, I feel like we talked about what to offer them. Are there white rituals?
There are. Someone in some of the mutual servers actually sent me a few pictures out of a book. I will get the name of that book so we can put it in our description.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
I would love that.
1 second. I've got one right in front of me. Does it have one in there? As you were. I'm just gonna flick through.
Just like I'm gonna have to buy these books.
There's bloats to the ancestors in here. That's pretty cool.
What book are? Excuse me. What book are you looking at, Sif?
This is the Ossetry UK Book of Bloats.
Oh, okay.
And this one has a Yule bloat to the Disir at the back. There's ancestor bloats. Naming ceremonies, wedding ceremonies. Yeah, there must be some yeah, there's gotta be.
They're out there somewhere. There are. I don't recall off the top of my head if there are any references specifically to offerings or rituals within the sagas, but I know that we have some record through the after the conversion in the folk magic era and the folk tales and things.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of them are demonized, so we have like any supernatural creatures are specifically just called the Mara, meaning the nightmare hags. That included the Walking Dead, witches, also ghosts, and Satan.
And Satan.
Yes. The magic of the post-conversion folklore and folk magic era is that, like, in one poem, you have them calling on the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, also the devil, and sometimes Thor, like, all at once.
Sometimes Thor.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun to take those and work backwards and be like, I bet Jesus didn't start in here. Like,
it's really fun. And the poem starts out with, like, Hail Mary, and then you end up with in the name of Satan.
Oh my god.
It's a lot.
I quite like this scattershot approach. One of them must be listening.
Who are you praying to? Whoever the fuck is listening.
Yeah, yep. Fair enough.
Mood. But yeah, so I guess with that, like, recap. Are you ever alone? No.
No, the whites are always watching.
Land whites are there. House whites are there. It's a thing. These are a thing. Snore is a fuck. But also is great because it wrote a lot of stuff that we have. I don't know. The
Snorri disrespect.
Right.
Snorri
Sif,
disrespect.
Side of this is going to stay in. The name of the book that I have seen prayers to the house whites in is The God's Own Country, a heathen prayer book.
I have that one.
There are some in there. There are also prayers to the Disir and to the whites of an unfamiliar place, which is a wonderful thing that I will be printing and keeping in my wallet.
The doorway, they're literally right on top of each other. Yeah, they're the same author, Dankel.
You should send me.
Who is a wonderful heathen.
Things.
Yeah. Yes. They're both. Well, the God's Own County is by the heathens of Yorkshire.
Why is it county?
Why not?
Because Yorkshire is referred to as the God's Own County.
Oh.
And obviously, yeah, so it's yeah, and because Yorkshire was essentially the heart of Viking Age
bullshit
England.
Right, we'll take it. Anyway.
Oh god.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Those are two very good books, and I have just flipped through, and yes, there is to the rituals.
That's good.
Guys, do you think animism is a good outlook? Because I think it's pretty all white.
God damn it.
I
love you, Kenna.
Sif, I need you to cut that and make that the intro.
Sure.
I love myself.
I love you too.
It's going to be painful.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said. All right. Oh god. Okay. It's fine. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Do any of you include whites in your practice? Or are you planning on it after listening to this? Why or why not? Please comment below and let us know how you feel about those things. We'd love to hear about it. We really like hearing from you guys. That being said, we do have a Discord. It is free. Please come join us. We like to chit chat and be goblins. It's great. We also have a Redbubble, which, as you heard in this episode, may or may not be updated very soon. Pressure, Sif.
Oh no, yeah, that's me. Never mind.
I
was like, did we? Oh, yep.
You're right. I should put animism is pretty all white on a t-shirt.
It might be updated twice soon. Pressure, Kenna. Anyways. Yay! So yeah, don't forget to weave the oh, I'm missing shit. Okay, sorry. Love you guys. So we also have a Patreon. If you are able and willing, we have a few tiers. We do some fun stuff like we let people know about merch drops a little earlier. We do live recordings once a month. We do polls for upcoming content to see what you'd like to hear. And just other fun stuff like monthly Sif art drops that are specific to Patreon, and it's a fun time. But yeah, with that being said, don't forget to weave the connection between the like, subscribe, and bell button, and remember, keep heathenry weird.
Offer to your whites.
Offer to your wife.